Before we jump into today's show, I just wanted to let you know that I have got a brand new 3-part audio series available to download right now. If you head over to donnaeade.com/3-part audio, that's all one word, no spaces, you can download your How to Build Your Authority with Podcasting audio series. This is going to address guesting and hosting. So if you're interested in either of those and you want to know how to build your authority, head over to donnaeade.com/3-part audio. The link will be in the show notes. You're listening to the Mindset and Action Podcast, the place to be to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade. Let's jump into the show. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody, for another mini Mindset Monday. Today is a guest episode. I have Alex in the house. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, before we get on to our mindset question, do tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Hi, I'm Alex Standley, and my business is Luxe Leopard Lifestyle, which is always a bit of a mouthful. So I am a personal stylist and sustainable fashion consultant, and I primarily help busy women who are struggling with their style confidence, and I help them to reignite that. So I focus very much on female empowerment and creating a positive impact on people and planet. Those are my two big core values.
I absolutely love it. I can't remember what happened when it happened, but the whole sustainability thing really got to me. And now whenever I hear somebody turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I just bought it off Shein," I'm like,
Oh.
I get I'm like, I have to bite my tongue. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about following you on social media is all of the kind of impact stuff that you do and talking about it and, trying to convince people that charity shops are not what they used to be, which is something that I struggle with. Just like, no, please don't make me go with one of those. But there are some great alternatives out there. And if you follow Alex on social media, you will find out all about those. So on Thursday's episode, which you absolutely definitely need to come back and listen to, Alex and I are doing something a little bit different because obviously styling isn't something that I generally talk about. I think we have, in terms of branding and things like that, personal branding, we've spoken a little bit about style, but it's not really something that we talk about. So we're doing a business conversation instead, and we're talking about the 4 pillars that this podcast covers, and we are deep diving into how Alex uses them in her business. So do come back for that conversation. It was a really good one. But today we're focusing on the mindset pillar. So Alex, the question is, what is the biggest mindset block that you've had to overcome in your business, and how did you do that?
So I think just generally speaking, I've been on such a big personal development journey with my business. I think it's just fast tracked that development for me in a way that it never would have been if I'd stayed in my corporate career. And I think imposter syndrome is probably one of the biggest things that's kept coming up for me in various different guises, specifically to my niche, if you like, in terms of sustainability. I think I've often over the years had feelings of, who am I to talk about this? Because I'm not a scientist or, I don't have that kind of formal background, but everything that I talk about is from, my own authentic experience. And, I do a lot of research, and I have, 15 years of experience actually working in the fashion industry behind the scenes. So I've had to do a lot of work on that, and in a lot of different guises. Obviously work with coaches, and mindset is a big part of that as well, but just also on, building my own confidence and having the confidence to show up authentically as myself has been such a big part of that, because I have to also, walk the talk as well, because it's something that I obviously help all of my clients with.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good one. And I love it when anybody mentions this one because it always makes me bring up on my social media. Oh, don't want it to make noise. Reshma's commencement speech that she did, and I will link it in the show notes again, guys, because I think it is so important to listen. It's a long one, but it is amazing to listen to and just think like, why do we put ourselves through this? Why do we
Mm,
think of ourselves as less than?
mm,
Or, even like you just turning around and saying that, oh, I'm not a scientist, but, and then you listed off all of these things that prove that you have got the experience and the authority to speak on it, even if it's not a scientific background that you've got,
mm,
that you do your research before you talk, and that you've got a lot of experience. You went to these countries and saw, where it happened, and you've got that experience, yet we don't give ourselves the credit for having that, and we undermine it to ourselves. And it's a shocking one. It is a bit crazy that
yeah.
we do it. And I think it is something that is a big female focused issue, that we do tend to put ourselves in this box of who we should and shouldn't be, and what we should and shouldn't be talking about. And it's a shame, and it's a shame that it is kind of that generational
Mm,
embedded into our DNA almost. And I hope that in our grandchildren's era, that they will be, fighting fit, and the imposter syndrome will be a thing of the past, or imposter phenomenon as it is. Actually, it's not a syndrome, but,
mm.
it doesn't take away from the fact that it feels the way it feels.
Yeah, definitely.
And it is a struggle. So have you noticed anything sort of going back to the beginning of starting your business? Because is this something that you found hit you in corporate life as well before you started your business, or is it something that came up because of the business? Because I think a lot of people do suffer with it in lots of different ways, but you
Mm,
obviously had a very sort of important role within what you did as a buyer. That's kind of
mm.
a really big deal. Is it something that came up there as well, looking back?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely look back and see, strands of it. I'm very much like what do they call it? Like introverted extrovert. So I had to very much step out of my comfort zone in my role as a buyer as well, because I had to do a lot of presentations. I had to stand in front of directors, big international franchise groups, and present my range and get it picked apart and torn to pieces a lot of the time. And that took me a long time to kind of grow my confidence in doing that, and standing my ground and having that authority. So I think there's always strands of it through my career, but I think the difference in being in that corporate kind of, what I like to call, safety blanket, then going to your entrepreneurial side of your career is, the spotlight's very much just on you. You don't have that, team of people around you. It's very, very different. I think, you know, even when I worked for Amazon, we did a lot more kind of individually and not so much as a team. But you still, you worked for Amazon. It was like a huge corporation that you had behind you in all your negotiations and everything that you were doing. So to go from that to just being just me on my own, I think that definitely impacted the imposter syndrome, or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
um, because everything falls on you, and everything comes back on you as well. And I think a lot of it for women especially comes down to that fear of judgment.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it does. Yeah, I think it's interesting. And the reason that I kind of brought up the past careers is because you usually find that these mindset blocks, although it's the same thing, it's just showing up in a different way. So, in your corporate job, you were a buyer, you went out, you chose ranges, you came back and you said, this is what we're going to do. And you got a thick skin around, them picking you apart and able to stand your ground and things like that. So, in your business, I would assume that actually, when it comes to going out and picking and doing the personal shopping, that you're really confident in going, no, just try it, just let me show you how this will work. And that you actually then give your clients that confidence to give things a go. But there's this other side of your business that you want to sort of hone in on, which is the sustainability element, which isn't your, background. And
Mm,
therein the imposter syndrome comes up again. And oh, what do I know about this? So it's interesting, and I think you're amazing at what you do, and I think it's a well worthwhile thing to be doing, especially for the planet, and especially for the people that you work with. I know that it makes a huge impact. I've seen some of the testimonials and things that you've put up, and people talking about how it's changed their perceptions of themselves even, which is amazing. So that's wonderful. Where can people connect with you? Where do you like to hang out on the old internet?
So I am on all of the social media platforms. Instagram is obviously the visual one, which is important with what I do. So I am Luxe Leopard Lifestyle over there. But I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook and dabble with a bit of TikTok as well. So you can find me on all those.
Brilliant. I will put the links in the show notes for you guys so you can go over and connect with Alex. And don't forget to come back on Thursday, because Alex has got a very special gift for you in the show notes on Thursday's episode. And we have a fantastic conversation. So you're going to want to hear it. So thank you very much for your time today, Alex.
Thank you.
We will see you in the next one, guys. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.